start the show.
I thought you already did that.
Nope, they can now, though. Hello, everybody. Hi.
Hello.
It's like, oh, hey, what's going on, everybody?
We're about to start the show. How's everyone doing tonight?
I'm good.
I'm talking
Very-
to the chat room, but I'm glad you're all okay.
Want to know how I'm doing?
Nope.
Okay.
Don't care, as
Well,
it turns
shut
out.
this camera off. I'll catch you guys later.
Ben, how are you doing?
You don't care.
Yeah, you're right. It's fine. It's fine.
It's
He'll
fine.
give his answer when he's good and ready.
Pretty much. When someone other than John asks, I might answer. We'll see. We'll see.
Nothing can be nad on a Friday night. That's my saying, Alessander.
That's awesome.
It's the way I've lived my life so far, and I don't plan to change anytime soon.
I don't know what NAD means. Is this a new hip thing and I'm too old?
Yep.
Isn't NAD the Australian thing to, like, hair wax removal or something on your legs?
Nair?
Or is it Nair?
It's Nair.
I don't know.
In Australia, it might be NAD. You never know. Crikey, I got some NAD all over me.
Good voice acting, Ben.
Thanks. Crikey, I'm great. Yep. That's what it is. Oh, it's a typo. That is actually an Australian bird, the typo. Gotta watch out for those.
Okay.
They poop everywhere.
Okay, I will.
One,
I don't know why I'm giving you such an aggressive okay, but there you go.
Okay, Ben.
Okay, I will.
Fine.
I will watch out for things that you've warned me about, okay?
Hey, don't step in that manhole cover or the manhole open.
Okay, I
Sewer.
won't.
No,
I won't step in the manhole cover. You win, okay?
Watch out for that cactus.
Okay, I won't touch the spiky desert thing, okay?
Wish there was an animation of this.
Car's running right for you.
Then I'll move. Thanks.
There's a laser red red dot on your back, like someone's got a sniper rifle pointed on you.
You've been really helpful.
Oh man, what would you do right now if like all of a sudden a little red dot appeared like on your computer desk?
I don't know. I'd be like, hey guys, this is really weird. A red dot appeared on my computer desk right when Ben was talking about it.
I'd be pretty concerned because we're actually in a room that has no windows.
Yeah,
So
that
I'd
would be
like-
alarming.
I'd be like, we have a problem.
There's just a spider on the wall with a laser pointer. I'm gonna freak him out.
Hit the deck.
No, chat.
I have
Why
it.
does chat room want to know if I'm naked? I learned my lesson, chat. I don't wear the gray shirt that makes me look naked on the stream anymore.
Yeah, now he wears the skin tone shirt that makes him look naked.
Now I just don't wear a shirt. And I'm like, oh, it's just my gray shirt making me look like I got nothing on.
John, I see hair. Nothing.
That's just my gray shirt with hair on it.
When I was a kid, there used to be like, I grew up in Louisiana. So we're a little different down there, I guess. I don't know. But there used to be this commercial on all the time that was like talking about your car insurance. But it was like this guy, like no clothes on. And it was like, are you driving naked?
Darn, you got me.
That's something they do down there.
What they know? I don't see how insurance is going to make him any less naked either.
It's when you're applying for your insurance and they're going through those questionnaires of like, do you have the club and everything? It's like, now, sir, do you drive naked?
Well, of
Mm-mm.
course.
You can't get the non-naked discount, I guess.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was actually a discount. But would it be for being naked?
I don't know.
I
mean-
it depends on if you're pulled over or not.
Yeah. Because there could be benefits to both. I mean, like, your clothes might not catch on fire, so the injury liability would be lower, maybe.
Distraction to others causing accidents, though. I mean, maybe it balances out.
The follow-up question would be then, do you have tinted windows?
Oh, good point. Very good point.
Svensson
So then they could be
suggests that we would get 3 more viewers if I was naked. But I think that's like, okay, so that's the ad, but I think you've left off the stat on how many we would lose, which is more than 3.
Well, to be fair, I think Bo would probably show up more often.
Bo would be here more often for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be here for screen caps easily.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it from my app.
I can tell you, go to your chat.
Here's this. Chat.
Oh,
My
chat. Via
Your chat. Your chat.
My chat.
We have the chat on the PC, but we're trying to get her, where she's going to host you.
Oh, cool. Well, this is good because I honestly don't know how to host other than like doing the whole auto host thing from my dashboard. I'm like, hey, I can put someone here, and that's all I got. Like, other than that, no idea.
Here's my chat.
You're in your chat. Okay, do / host space Azeroth RT.
I like that this show can function as a World of Warcraft show and teach people how to host other channels on Twitch.
Hey, look, Kaz is hosting us, guys.
It's a tutorial
Hooray!
Boom.
and a show.
Well, she does a bunch of helpful YouTube videos, so might as well just spread it wherever she goes.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
trying to learn Twitch is what I'm trying to do.
John, please tell me that you were recording this aspect of the video.
Yeah.
All right. Then we can link it to her and say for other helpful tips.
Thank you for joining us on Azeroth Roundtable, World of Warcraft discussion, and Twitch help. Today's Twitch help tip was brought to you by nobody. Nobody has sponsored us yet.
Oh, technically Kaz did. Well, it's not a sponsor, but I mean, it was her Twitch
The
help.
Morgan's Howl. It was Frosty
There we
that
go.
did it.
Okay, there we go. All
That's
right.
fair. That's
We
fair.
have sponsors, everybody. We can do it. Hey, are we ready to light this candle, as they say in movies about rockets?
Well, at least you said light this candle,
Are
so.
you guys ready to light this tree? Too soon.
Ooh.
Ooh.
We
That
ready
was like-
to set the night on fire?
All right, 1 second. Let me swap this over, and then we'll get ready to do the actual show. I mean, who'd have thought that grand, entertaining bit before wasn't the actual show?
At least somebody was recording it, though, so.
Yes, in 2 places by 2 different people.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, there's Death Cactus in the chat. That's what you were warning me about, right?
Yes, I was. Watch out for that cactus, man.
Okay, sweet. Hi, Death Cactus. I was warned about you.
Well, there we go. And with that, I just have to jump in and say, welcome to Azeroth Roundtable, episode 280. My name is Ben Bumhofer. It's Friday night. Get your marshmallows. We're ready to have a little party festival here. With me, as always, is John Jagger. How's it going, John?
Hello, Ben. It is Friday night here in Azeroth, and we're ready to take a seat round the old campfire, exchange some stories, talk about what's new in WoW. We've gotten rid of the round table for now. We've replaced it with this daring pit, where we are going to, in the tradition of people, just light a big bonfire, sit around it, talk about whatever's on our mind, whatever that might be. I've heard some things are happening in Azeroth. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be
John,
fun.
how can I have s'more if I haven't had anything yet?
Introduce our guest, Ben.
With us this week, very happy to say that from the Morgan's Howl, from Kaz Cosplay, from everywhere on the Alliance side, as well as just awesome friends, Frosty, Kaz, thank you very much for joining us on the show this week.
Thank you, guys. We are very glad to be here.
Very glad to be here, though I'm quite triggered by all this campfire stuff.
Well,
No, it's just a nice, calm, soothing thing. You know, the smell of a campfire, that's all we're talking about.
Mm.
Or nothing greater. We're just having a little campfire chat. You know, it's nice and relaxed.
When I heard pit, I thought maybe not pit as much as Thunderdome.
yeah.
But,
Well, it's a similar thing.
We
Convex.
just thought we don't always have 2 guests on at the same time. Let's get rid of this formality. What's with the table? Why have a table when you can have who needs a big old piece of wood if you can have a pit of fire instead? It's just relaxing. It's calm. You've got the nice little snap, crackle, and pop. It's just good. It's just friendly. It's
As WoW
inviting.
Twitter would say, let's just put aside the factions for a moment.
Yeah,
This has absolutely nothing to do with factions.
yeah.
But in all honesty, before we do get everything started, I do want to say something like very serious here.
Oh,
Whether you agree with anybody or disagree with anybody on the show, or Blizzard or Christy Golden specifically, anything like that, be respectful. Don't be a douche, because people out there who are being douches, I don't want to have anything to do with you.
great.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I saw your tweet and it was awesome. I totally agree.
People definitely have their cockles up right now. And I'm not going to lie, 90% of why I just said that was to use the word cockles.
Now, is that like a thing, because we're from the Worgans, Hal? I mean, like, is this, like,
The hair on your spine is lifted up. Yeah, and if you happen to be a Dilophosaurus from Jurassic Park, your frills are up. I mean, it's something,
yes.
pretty much.
Whatever your race or faction, something is up right now.
Yes.
That is very true.
All right. So let's get this whole thing started. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but there has been something brewing between the Horde and the Alliance. Some might call it a battle or war or something like that. Okay, so whatever. Let's get all the pretense aside. I want, first and foremost, I want to know what you guys thought about the whole burning of Teldrassil storyline. And if you want to start with the whole Darkshore stuff, if you want to talk about just Teldrassil, your thoughts on Sylvanas, I'm really curious as to kind of where your guys' head is at before we really jump into the whole.
Let's move through it chronologically. I think that's a good way to tackle it. So let's tackle, where's your head at going into the War of Thorns?
Me or you first?
You can
Me
go
first. Okay. So, being a longtime Worgen player, I'm not very fond of Sylvanas in the first place. Going in, I know there was the whole, morally gray discussion. I don't ever think that I believed that there was any morally gray. I pretty much figured, from the beginning, yeah, this is going to happen. Whatever the reasoning, I still don't like Sylvanas. Not surprising. She's a war chief, kind of like I don't remember who tweeted it in response to another tweet, but I found it and they said, "Peace chief."
Chief.
No way.
Well, with me going into it, we all knew that it was going to end with the tree burning. That was no secret. We've known that for a really long time. So going into those quests while we were playing it, it was kind of a little depressing, seeing this huge war going on, which I was really impressed by, the amount of NPCs and the damage that was going on through the whole thing. And but it was still fun. I was doing all that I could as a player to push back the Horde. But the quest that really got me is when they're like, quick, save 960
yes
residents of Teldrassil. You have 2 minutes. I'm like, oh crap, 960. I got about 20 saved before I blacked out and had to be saved myself.
Halfway through, she was just like, my counter is not even going up anymore, I think.
Yeah, okay,
that was a very hard-hitting moment when you're like, holy crap, 960. That's a lot, and just I got to save 20 of them, and that just really hit me hard, just how many people died.
So I feel like now's a good place to tell this story. Funny you should mention the saving people quest, because I went through and did this on my Alliance tune, and I got to the part where, okay, I've seen the cutscene. And I go and everything's on fire and I talk to the lady and I didn't read the quest text. And I hit accept and didn't read what I had to do. I assumed it was save people. Like, that's what it seemed like would be the logical thing. And I was like, now would be a fantastic time to go get a drink of water.
Oh no.
So I stood up and walked away from the computer. I'm refilling my water glass. I sit back down. I'm adjusting everything. And all right, now what are we doing? So I click the quest and start reading the text. And I'm like, okay. And I look over and I see the counter and it's like 45, 44, 43. And I was like, 943 seconds. Well, I guess nobody made it. And I just sat there until the thing counted down and blacked out. Turns out I did not help Night Elves a whole lot. We'll say you did 20 more than I did.
It's funny though, because like the whole sequence started and I was in shock at that point. Because like, first of all, seeing the RP between Gen and his wife and everybody, like that was just brilliantly done. I love that. And like how pissed he is like, you know, they've destroyed 2 of my homes. They took my daughter or son. And because I'm like, no, the daughter's in the rogues. It's cool. Okay. And I'm just like, this is great. And everything's on fire. And I'm like, is this like, my first thought was, if say a mage tries to port into Darnassus, is this what they're gonna find? You know, just everything.
That was my question because I play mage too, so I was just like, is my portal just not gonna work, or is it gonna be like the old Dalaran portal?
Oh my
gosh!
Like 8.5, you just poured into just ash. It's like when you poured into Theramore now, you know.
Oh yeah.
you know, like kind of like that when you're fighting at the end of Emerald Nightmare, and there's like that fog effect. You just poured into a room like that. You're just like, great.
You can't even see the portal. It just opens and just smoke keeps billowing out of it. And it's just like, oh, I should close this. This is a problem.
That would actually be a really cool effect if they just randomly did that.
That would be.
Yeah. But, okay. So, I mean, like that quest aside was probably, for the Alliance side, take this how I mean it, not how it's going to sound. But that was the highlight of that whole chain on that side. Like, I know that sounds horrible. Yes. I'm horrible.
The most impactful.
Yes, exactly.
Ben's like, the best part was when people died.
But there was the whole leading up, like knowing that this was the ending, you know, like the outcome for now. You know, that we were going into this like kind of an unwinnable war and wondering kind of like how Blizzard was going to do it. Like, where were we going to end up? Like, what was our character actually going to see? Were we going to be in the middle of it? Were we going to be like seeing it from a distance and what? And so I think that was another interesting thing, because I didn't know exactly where we would be as characters, like as all this happened. So it's cool to like, you know, to see it building up, kind of like Kaz said, seeing like the war out in Dark, you know, in the Dark Shore. And like, I was flying above it and I was like, this is actually pretty cool to watch, because, you know, like the ancients that were just like throwing boulders or whatever. And yeah, it was kind of making me excited for like war fronts coming up in Battle for Azeroth, because I'm like, if this is like a little mini bit of that would be pretty cool. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh yeah, this is not going to end well, this one. Can't win that one.
Well, I don't know if you saw Hannah, I totally forgot her, Arcane Ratzel. She tweeted a GIF earlier today, or maybe yesterday. It was Treloyd Jenkins, and it had the ancient jumping in and attacking the Horde players and everything. I'm like, that's great. I love that.
Wonderful.
But okay, so I'm trying to think of like the best way to bring this. Okay, here's the thing. I don't know if you guys had heard my whole theory going into Battle for Azeroth on what was going to happen with the tree. Like, I had this gigantic theory that I'm like, okay, it's not going to be Sylvanas, because, I mean, let's face it, Blizzard was being very, you know, secretive over what happened when, I mean, John, you texted me and said, hey, if you don't want any spoilers, completely stay off of social media, although it's not even a spoiler.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's no spoilers, which is kind of a spoiler, but, I mean, it's my way of saying, like, yeah, it's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah, which, so... The first day that I went through, you know, like on Tuesday, went through, saw the Warbringers, because I totally stayed away from the Warbringers because I saw that it was Sylvanas. I'm like, it probably ties into this and everything. And I'm just like, okay. I finished it. I was upset and distraught. I mean, partly because, I mean, I thought it would be really cool storytelling wise if Gen or another, like big alliance person actually set the tree on fire so that the horde couldn't get it and stuff like that. I thought it'd be an interesting story arc. Upset that I was wrong. Upset because I'm like, we're really doing this. But the thing is at that point I had such relief at the same time, because it's like, okay, it's not a mystery anymore. We can move on with the story, because we've been waiting for something like this to happen since October or November of last year. It's like,
right.
It's actually starting at what's going on. There's all this speculation. I mean, it turned out to be nothing. And it really made it so I'm like, okay, cool. I can actually be a lot happier with playing on the Horde side, not because I completely agree with what she did. I understand why she did it, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, this is the story we have. Let's see what's going on with it.
That was pretty fast to the acceptance stage. Like, you just
It was the next day. Like,
right at the end, boom.
I'm like, why are they doing this? I'm a monster. And then the next morning, I'm like, no, I'm not. It's cool.
We're the Horde.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like in my headcanon for my character, it's like, okay, well, she's a healer. She's just going to go and try to make sure as many people live through this as possible. Like that, I figured that's my role in the Battle for Lordaeron next week and everything. I'm just like, this is what I'm doing. So.
Can we stop for a second and say like how awesome it was that they incorporated like the Warbringers cinematic into the game, like not an in-game cinematic, not a fully rendered cinematic, but bringing that in. I thought that was really cool and powerful in that scene too. So because it made it really special.
Yeah. Did either of you end up making Demon Hunters in Legion?
Oh yeah, the Demon Hunter incorporated it as well, and I loved that.
Yeah, that was surprising when that happened. All of a sudden, it's like I'm playing through, and then that starts. I'm like, that's not even me, but I'm okay with this.
Yeah, it was great. Great stuff.
Yeah. So, what are you guys thinking about the Horde right now? Just out of curiosity.
Pretty sure it's time to dismantle the Horde now. We need. I think we all kind of understand that. Especially like if you've been a follower of Gen, it's just time that we've accepted Sylvanas through South Shore. We've accepted her through the destruction of Gilneas. I think it's time that we finally say, enough is enough. There's pretty much only one person causing all these big issues for us, and we need to eliminate them at this point.
Well, I don't know who posted it on Twitter, but there was like an excerpt from one of the chronicles, or like just like a story moment of, Saurfang is saying, we fought alongside with the Alliance against the Burning Legion and it worked really well. And then Sylvanas was yelling at him like, the peace will never stay. We have to keep conquering to be the Horde. And I'm like, well, okay, they're going to keep conquering. And yeah, there's so many grudges that, like, especially Sylvanas, she's been around forever to hold all the grudges. And there's a lot of anger with her. There's a lot of anger with Jaina. I wonder if this will bring her back into the Alliance and people will be like, yes, Jaina, please come back, lead us against the Horde. We love you now. We'll
forgive you for disappearing for so long. And...
I've never been a huge Jaina fan, but that cinematic made me a Jaina fan.
It was gorgeous.
It was gorgeous, and it brought back the memories, because I was huge into Warcraft 3 of that moment where she did go against her father's wishes to help the Horde and trying to find peace, and that guilt that she felt because her father was killed as a result. And now she has that anger and that need to just let's get rid of the Horde. Let's just get rid of the Horde. I'm in that camp.
But I feel like the Horde probably are kind of in the situation like at the end of the Warcraft movie, when Gul'dan uses magic in the Mok'Gara, and everybody's like, whoa, Gul'dan, he has no honor, and then he kind of shows him his power, and everybody's kind of like, yeah, I guess for the Horde then, we're not gonna try to stand against you. So I wonder if the Horde feel kind of like that, and that's because we know that there's probably a lot of Horde that are sympathetic to like a lot of the player feelings and wouldn't have wanted to do that, but at the same time it's like, well, what do you do?
We have to
like...
stand with our Horde. There's nowhere else we could be.
Yep.
So John,
Yeah, Ben.
I mean, I'm guessing here, but you've been a Sylvanas fan for a while, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What?
Since Warcraft 3, as a matter of fact.
Okay. Okay. So a while.
Yeah.
A while.
Some might say for as long as the character has existed.
Okay. I'm curious because we haven't talked at all about this.
Yeah.
And I just kind of want to know, like, where are your thoughts? Like, what are you thinking about her? Like, do you understand why she ended up burning the tree, or at least what's your take on it?
So when I first saw it, I feel like it was exactly like my reaction to seeing Last Jedi for the first time, which was, it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. I was a little surprised that they drew the hard line in the sand. I didn't think they would, or if they were going to, I didn't think they would do it so soon. So I genuinely was not expecting it at that point. And so I don't think I think my brain was putting it together when I first watched it, and I finished it, and I don't think I appreciated the cinematic at all. And it's one of those reasons why, and I know we disagree on this, Ben. I'm not trying to say I'm right and you're wrong. I'm just saying this is how I process information.
Okay.
I wish somebody had just told me, yeah, Sylvanas burns down the tree. Because I feel like if I could have gone in without all these questions and all this extra baggage and wondering who's going to do it, why are they going to do it, what's going to happen, I feel like I maybe would have appreciated it the first time I watched it, because I absolutely did not. I finished watching it and I didn't feel a thing. I was just like, okay, this is what we're doing, huh? Okay. But I went back and I watched it again, and I have to say, as much as I like the song and the performance, this is my favorite short that they've done ever. It is so perfect that I can't even begin to describe it. The things that they have chosen to do, the subtle things. So it's things like, there's a part where the night elf says to her, "You can't kill hope." And they have decided to animate the smallest difference in Sylvanas' face. You can barely even tell it moved. It's just shading in the jaw, showing that she's clenching her teeth at being told that. It's such a small little detail, but it tells you so much about the character. Not to mention the performance. Like, quiet Sylvanas is scary. We usually when we hear her, she's out there, "Nathanos, do the thing, I'm over here, Nathanos." Like, she's usually loud and yelling at people.
Well, part of that because you play so much Heroes of the Storm. They're just constant. Okay.
Yes. But like, quiet, gonna be evil Sylvanas is genuinely creepy and freaky, and I love it. And I loved getting to see that. So here's the deal. Yeah, I understand why she did it. I don't, as an individual observing it, I'm like, yeah, probably wouldn't have gone that way. But I get why she did it, because to me, this story, her story as it stands right now, is explaining Sylvanas' lack of understanding on the value of life.
Mm-hmm.
Because she went there to kill Malfurion, because she felt if Malfurion died, the Night Elves would break, and that would be the end of their spirit. They would accept Horde occupation in Darnassus. Well, Sourfang lets him go like a punk. And for some reason, my character didn't go rogue and stab him while he was on the ground, which I absolutely would have done. I had no qualms about it. But
look, as an Alliance player, I've chased him down enough times for Tehran. I probably would have done it too.
Yeah. Honestly,
look, I'm tired of chasing you, man.
It's a favor to everybody. I'm sick of Tehran. Also, he has perhaps, and it was Kyle who pointed it out to me, and it is the funniest thing about it. It's one of those just great game-breaking moments, and I'm sorry I'm stealing your joke, Kyle, but it made me laugh a lot, is he's fighting with Sylvanas. Sourfang, who doesn't make his presence known at all, throws an axe into his back, and without looking, he just goes, Sourfang, and falls onto the ground. And it's like, how did he know? And what a weird reaction to having an axe thrown in your back. It really was like good friends. Just like, we were having a drink yesterday. Why would you do this to me today? It's just, it's not even upset. It's just like quiet, subtle betrayal for him. So that made me laugh a lot. But anyway,
it's like sitting at a party and you turn around and your friend's like double dipping in the dip.
Yeah.
You're like Sourfang. Oh my gosh.
Sourfang, double dipping is Taronda. He's double dipping.
Beloved, don't eat the salsa.
It's really good. But anyway, so that was supposed to be the break the spirit moment. And then Sourfang goes back and is like, I didn't have honor, I let him go. And I'm sure Sylvanas was pleased. So here she has this night elf tell her that you can't kill Hope. And she's sitting there basically telling her the one thing you came here to do, which was break our spirit and take us down, you can't do. Mm-hmm. And that's where we get the wonderful line reading of "Can't I?" Oh, I love it so much. It's so menacing. It's so good. And she decides to burn down the tree because in Sylvanas' mind, that is going to break their spirit. The little novels imply that she believes this will cause a rift between Gilneas and Stormwind. Gilneas has been wanting Stormwind to come assist with the retaking of Gilneas. Now all of a sudden they're going to have to help Night Elves. Greymane's not going to be happy about that. The Night Elves aren't going to be happy about that. Everybody's going to break and the alliance is going to fold within. Because Sylvanas doesn't understand how people perceive life and what this is going to mean to the alliance. And she doesn't realize that what she's done is unite the alliance stronger than ever. And she has now turned them into something incredibly destructive that's genuinely a major threat to her. And so, to me, that's the current arc. And so I completely get why Sylvanas did it. Like I said, I don't necessarily think it was the right way to go, but I think that's telling the folly of, a villain, or at least a villainous act. Like, this is her hubris. This is her having to learn that lesson the hard way. And spoilers, Lordaeron is about to pay the price for that because we're about to see everybody show up and take her home away from her. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a really compelling start to the story. I know there's a lot of controversial opinions out there, but I genuinely think it's compelling. I think it's very interesting to watch.
Well, I think one of the reasons is that people aren't actually getting the nuance behind it. Like, a lot of people see it for, either the one time or maybe a second time as they're going through alt or something, and they just see Sylvanas being taunted by a night elf as opposed to her, calculating what she thinks she should actually do. And yeah, I'm with you. It's something that I wouldn't have done, but then again, I'm living. I'm not Sylvanas. I think that she did kind of go, yeah, she is a villain at this point, because it's the different type of thinking, the calculation that she went with and everything. And yeah, she's the Horde's leader. It sucks, but I mean, that's what happens when someone who has such an incredibly different, version of thinking and stuff is your leader. They don't work the same way. It like John said, it made the enemy stronger. So good on her. But
yeah, I think my favorite line from the cinematic was really from the Night Elf that was saying, you've made life your enemy, and that's a war that you can never win.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, John, I don't know how many times you've brought up the similarities of like movie Magneto, along with Sylvanas, is that his whole idea in the first X-Men movie is he's trying to turn everybody into a mutant. It's the idea of Sylvanas. If everybody's dead, there's not a problem because everybody's undead. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll sit around the fire and tell stories and everything. It'll be great.
It was
think-
funny though that day, while the wounds were pretty fresh, is when I had an idea, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to say this. I don't think I want to put this idea in Alliance players' heads while they're suffering a little. It's been long enough. I feel like I can say." Doesn't this give Sylvanas a convenient place to go recruit a army?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's holding her back from
Exactly.
raising dead?
I can think of about 900 some soldiers that she's able to get access to whenever she needs.
They might be a little crispy and stiff.
I saved some of those. Just saying.
Okay, maybe 30 less, but
Yeah.
about
The
900.
low 900s. Low.
They might look like Bolvar when she raises them.
Yeah, he's still alive. It's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, actually, he's still alive though. It's not like undeath because the red dragon flame is what healed him. Call it that.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things about this too is like you think back of like since the beginning of World of Warcraft, and back in vanilla we did have like these zones like in Ashenvale where there was like skirmishes between the Horde, and we've always had PvP and them fighting over one thing or another, but we've never had like a war like where we've read about in the novels like the Third War, where Stormwind falls or something like that. Like, we haven't had anything like that in World of Warcraft, and I think it's really neat. It's like a great time to see this happen, like, in the game. Like, it's like the cataclysm, but we're causing it ourselves. We're changing the landscape of the game right here.
Yeah, we are the cataclysm.
I'll tell you another subtle thing that Blizzard has done that I really appreciate is that when you read the novelization bits that are in the collector's edition, I think you alluded to it, which was Sylvanas' discussion with Sourfang, which was him saying like we can have peace right now, and she's like, really? For a year? Do you think it'll last a year? Yeah. Do you think it'll last 5 years? Maybe. You get that awkward like probably not, and it was so funny reading that because when I was trying to understand, because I always have a headcanon for my character, why is my character here? What's my character doing? It goes back to my role-playing roots, I guess. The realization that I had for my character was this piece can't last. And I thought about it and I was like, well, let's say Anduin and Sylvanas meet, they agree, we're putting the Azerite back in the earth, we're going to save Azeroth, we're setting aside our differences. Does Gen stand by and watch that handshake and be cool with it?
No.
Does Jaina?
No.
Like, do any of these characters sit there and go, yeah, that's cool? And I was like, there's no way peace happens. And I think it was in Before the Storm, Sylvanas has the thought that the Horde recovers from war faster than the Alliance. We're at a deadlock right now, but we recover faster. Now's when we attack. And she's just like, that's it. Like, we can't have peace, so now is when we attack. And it made perfect sense for that mentality. What I like that Blizzard has done is they have now given the Alliance that mentality too. It was very Horde thinking back at the time, but now that's how Alliance players feel. Because I'm telling you right now, and I mean, you can answer this, if Sylvanas was like, hey, you're right, our bad, are you Alliance players going to let that go?
Definitely, as somebody who's invested in the Worgen, that is not going to happen. Because, we all know how Stormheim worked out, so he's going to hunt her down one way or the other.
Yeah.
You mean you didn't get the secret special ending where they just ended up hugging and being all like, good job, and she scratched him behind the ears?
Oh, wow.
Hold on, I'm rethinking this whole conflict right now.
But once you get 20,000 achievement points, that unlocks, and it's a super special quest. So
It's you're in your own shard, and the game is completely different.
exactly. So I mean, okay, one of the big things that's gosh, everything that we're talking about is a big thing. But one of the big things that happened last night is, of course, well, and up until last night, all these horrible feelings. People again sending hate mail every which way that they possibly can. Alliance players being like, "See, the Horde are evil." Horde players saying, "Not my war chief." You know, like
Yep.
all the stuff that's going around, and like there's so much like emotion, you know, positive and negative going into this. Like again, ever since we found out, okay, Sylvanas burned the tree, I'm excited for the expansion now because the story is there now. But with everything going on and everybody like, well, what about honor? What about this? What about that? And then all of a sudden, like the very first quest that I get when I log in on my Horde tune is Sarfang saying, "Hey, save these night elves because they're not attacking us." And it's the same exact quest that you get on the Alliance side is, "Hey, get these night elves out of here because guess what? Sucks to be them in a minute or two. Well, in like 20 minutes, but
Yeah.
you know, it's going to be worse, but you know, it's still cool." But then going through that, seeing him going through all of his, you know, I made a dishonorable move by throwing an axe into someone's back.
Starfang.
It's be a
And then-
ringtone for text tone,
Exactly.
please.
Oh, I kind of want that now. I might do that. And then all of a sudden, you know, last night for China Hope, they released the cinematic. And today, all over Twitter, all I see is, you know, Pauldron's off for Sarfang and everything.
For the Horde.
Like there's all this Horde pride, like, yeah, go Horde. This is my Horde. This is what we're talking about and everything. And it's just like Blizzard has done an amazing thing to make everybody hate, want to pay for a faction change, quit the game entirely, and then 2 days later be like, we're cool.
Yeah, it really is amazing. And seeing that change, because like there were devs like taking breaks from Twitter because of all the vitriol that was going their way, and it was awful. And then to be like, I don't know, people need to learn how to calm down their knees and not jerk them around too much.
I mean, I personally have friends that work at Blizzard that have nothing to do really with Warcraft, and they were getting stuff for this, and it's like, just cool your jets, people. Like, just calm down.
We had, I think Scott told me he got an email from somebody saying, "I'm not going to play Heroes anymore because I'm not going to play a game where where your supposed war chief who commits genocide is running around in it."
Wow.
I was like, this is a game where she and Jaina hang out and jam to Lucio beats.
Yeah.
Are we really going to get that serious about it?
That's the future that Sylvanas wants. She just wants everybody in the Nexus.
Yeah.
That's what. That's Warcraft 2.0. You know. Like,
Look, if you get John down that route, he will tell you how it is Warcraft 2.0.
Now look, they called it Before the Storm, and it's Heroes of the Storm. So, canonically speaking, this is a prequel to everybody going to the Nexus and living happily ever after.
nice. Where we can all find beach stitches.
Yeah, just chilling at the pool.
Boys.
Urgh.
So can I like say one thing that in the middle of it I just couldn't do anything but laugh when on the Alliance side, at least, when I don't know if at the Horde side, I assume that you see the same thing at that point, but when Tehran is like, "Oh, hey, I got this Hearthstone from Anduin, so I'm gonna like head out of here," and I'm like, "You didn't have a Hearthstone before? I've had a Hearthstone since I was level 1."
Look, every inn gives one away. Like,
I don't know if she says the line for the Horde. She definitely says it on the Alliance side, but I did see when she's casting it, you can click her and see what spell she's casting, and I was like, oh, she's Hearthing to Stormwind. Fancy that, I guess. But then, when I heard that line, I was like, she just got it? Like,
Yeah.
go visit an innkeeper, Taronda. Are you just too busy? What are you doing?
well, this
She's
is one specifically from Anduin.
Oh. It's got a selfie on it.
So,
Yeah.
It's like she's like, you know, You see that Malfurion? No. It's all about Manduin now.
Exactly.
And then he's sitting there in Storm, and he's like, "She used my Hearthstone, huh? Huh?" She's like talking again, like, "See, she used my Hearthstone."
Beloved. Right. Not for long.
Now you want a high drama expansion. You base an expansion on the breakup between Malfurion and Tyrande. Boy, that's gonna be
Cities
brutal.
are gonna fall now.
Oh yeah. Nothing could survive that.
Or
Or like Illidan screaming across the galaxy.
Well, if they would have broke up, I'm saying the tree probably would have burned then too. So
I know this is burning my last Heroes of the Storm reference that I get per show, but I feel like you would just hear from way off in the distance, "You are not prepared," as he dashes in and lands right in front of Tyrande with flowers.
so
you see him like slick back his hair too,
Yeah.
like, do that move.
he has a brand new mask on. It's nice and clean. So speaking of Tyrande, though, how great a leader is she when she's all like, "Come on, beloved, let's go to Stormwind."
And she leaves us in charge to be like, go help save. Like, even it, like, Tyrande has always kind of been like that. She's kind of bothered me. Just think about like all through Emerald Nightmare and stuff, how she was just like distraught. She's like, "I can't do it," and
I'm so upset.
I'm so upset. She's never been that great to me. I have great admiration for Mia Greymane now, because she was there till the end and had to be dragged away by Again,
Oh yeah.
like
Definitely.
trying to save people.
Also, hashtag there's our new Worgen model, hopefully.
That'd be great. Look, I mean, would you really be that upset if Mia turned into the leader of the Night Elves?
No, because I hate both potential leaders of the Night Elves. They're both the worst characters.
I don't like Tyrande or
Seriously.
Malfurion.
The best character arc that could happen for Tyrande is for them to break up, because then she'll actually be a character.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I just don't know how many more times I can take Malfurion, like, trapped in something or on the ground or just otherwise
Unconscious,
inconvenient.
under a spell.
Tyrande, my love, she comes in. What is it? There's a spider! A spider! He's just ducked behind the bed, peeking over it. Get it! Get it!
Yes, smash it.
I'd love to see that moment, actually.
It's one of those things too, where it's like, how many losses can she take in her life, and just like not react to it? Like, you think of like everything that happened in Val'sharah. I'm sad, and then Teldrassil. Oh, I'm sad. Like, what am I gonna do about it? Like, we didn't see her in the Battle for Azeroth opening cinematic. We don't see her there.
No.
So what's going on?
Malfurion, just like, I brought you some chicken noodle soup.
Malfurion's just sitting on the couch with a bell. He's like, ding, 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 ding. Tyrande! My soup is cold!
I need you to change the channel, Tyrande, please! I can't watch another Judge Judy, Tyrande!
The batteries fell out of the remote.
Ding, 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 Tyrande! When she's done, she's like, "Will this work?" And then he's just asleep for another 400 years. She's like, "Oh, I can't take any more of this."
Yeah, well, something needs to happen with them. They need to step up and actually do something. So I'm excited to see, yeah, they aren't in the cinematic with the attack on Lordaeron. I hope that they're doing something useful.
John, why didn't your character just kill Malfurion?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Oh, that's so great. It really would. I mean, look, okay, so 2 weeks ago I went into it like, oh my god, we're going to try and kill Malfurion? Now I'm just like, yeah, okay.
We should have done it. We shouldn't even have saved his sorry butt when he was in the Emerald Nightmare. Like, I was already, at that point, I was like, what if we just took our time looking for him? Because honestly, Tyrande, you could do better. Let me.
You need him for one of the fights in the raid. So
Ever since he came back, you've got 3 toggles: sad, mad at the horde, and worried about him. I'm just saying, let's add a 4th toggle.
The expansion after this next one is going to start with like he's going to be walking through a field and kind of like in Team Rocket style, a goblin flyer will fly over and like put him in a cage and he'll just be like whisked away. Tyrande, help again!
It happened again. It's just carried off.
Okay, Kaz, what is your ultimate Save Malfurion questline that you would add in the game?
Save Malfurion questline. Oh dear. The next thing is if he gets like old god corrupted, so he'll be like all like purple and his beard will turn to tentacles and
he'll be like Davy Jones.
Yes.
We'll have to like dispel him somehow or like purge the old god parasite in his brain. He may not survive.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, but nobody cares.
Actually, okay, so the beard goes tentacles. I think the antlers need to go tentacles, and then also the feathers on his arms. So he's just a big tentacly mess.
Blizzard has the technology, I'm sure.
They have tentacle tech.
They kill him because they think he's corrupted by the old gods. Turns out he's just really bad at cooking octopus.
The antlers, what it should do, the antlers should get all the like eye mouths that like
Cthulhu.
like Cthulhu or like Yogg had.
Oh, that'd be amazing. All these, and when he talks, they all talk at the same time.
Yeah.
So he gets like a really cool like reverb, like chorus sound and stuff.
Dude, this is like a cool Heroes of the Storm skin idea.
It is good. I've got mine. I know where I want to save Malfurion from.
Okay, what do you want to save him from?
So, on every Feast of the Winter Veil, he gets trapped in a chimney. And he's just up there going, Tyrande, help! There will be no Winter Veil for the good boys and girls this year if you don't help. Tyrande! You just have to go pluck him out of chimneys before... You have to pluck him out of 900 plus chimneys in 2 minutes.
Minus 30.
Yeah, minus 30.
I think that I would say that we'll have to save him from the merry-go-round at the Dark Moon Fair. And the quest is that he's stuck on it, and the ride operator doesn't know how to stop it, and you have to have like one of those cut the blue wire kind of moments. But when you cut the right wire, it just makes it go faster until he falls off unconscious, and then Tyrande swoops in and is like, "My beloved, not again!"
A giant like sucker. He's like, "I hurt my knee, Tyrande, when I fell off."
Hero, quick, go to the infirmary and buy a Band-Aid. One with flowers on it.
Can I have one with the trees?
Tyrande, I threw up. It's fine, Malfurion. I'm not going to tell anybody you threw up.
It's embarrassing.
Meanwhile, your character's tweeting.
So actually what you're saving it from is like bad PR.
Yeah.
So Hero, we were bringing you in this time as a crisis crisis PR manager. We need you to go around and collect a bunch of newspapers and just destroy them. So you get like a torch and you have to like throw it on the piles of like newspapers or burn posters around town that talk about Malfurion. We can't let this get out into the public. It would ruin him.
It's a new Suramar world quest.
Yeah.
Save Malfurion's image.
There's like a little like percent guide, kind of like when you're capping like a battleground point. It's like, oh, it's slipping down. Public opinion.
Oh, that'd be great. Okay, so my Save Malfurion, I've got to take it one step further because it's slowly gone this direction. He's trying to plan a birthday party for Tyrande, and he's unable to like get the cake and decorate as well as keep it as a surprise from her. And she's coming home in like 10 minutes.
It's just a sitcom situation you have to save him from.
It'll be like that Sir Marquess where you're making the wine.
Yes,
It needs more sprinkles. You have to throw the sprinkles at it.
I said raspberry filled.
She doesn't like pistachio.
And then there's an in-game cinematic, like right as she's about to walk in, you're like going out the back door, and Malfurion is just like,
You give him a big thumbs up too.
And then it freezes.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know what? We've had a lot of controversy in WoW recently. Factions divided more than ever. But it turns out the great unifying thing of all of it is that we can all agree that Malfurion's a bit of a dork, and maybe it's time for him to go.
So this whole time we were thinking like we were going to come on the show and talk about Sylvanas. No,
I guess not.
No,
This
we
was
were
the true-
quick to agree on her.
Malfurion was the true enemy,
Yeah, man.
hiding in plain sight. We didn't even know it, or maybe he wasn't really hiding.
No,
we just knew.
he was trying. He got wrapped in some brambles and was just like, ah. We were like, yeah, we know. I know it's
Like,
inferring
out of-
my own interpretation. I know this isn't what happened. But every time when I'm in the Emerald Nightmare zones and he's just trapped in brambles, the only thing I picture in my mind is that Saturday Night Live where Tom Hanks is trapped in a bag and just going, ah. Like, that's all I picture him doing when he's in the brambles.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
I'm just gonna have to make a soundboard with a bunch of Tehran, or not Tehran, but Malfurion sounds where he's like, "Ah, Sourfang, Tyrande, oh, Xavius."
Oh, that'd be so good. Just throwing in, I'm sleepy. Just because.
Well,
I'm sure he doesn't say that, but we can add it.
I think we do need to real quick wheel back in. We got to talk about the amazing thing that is Zappy Boi and Sourfang.
Yes.
I was actually heading there at one point, but then we just totally derailed.
Look, it's a lot of fun to poke fun at Malfurion.
Mm-hmm.
Both sides, we both need this humor at this time. So.
Yes, it's the great unifier.
Exactly.
Look,
if you laugh, you cry. That's what
if
happens.
there's anybody out there, I actually saw, I see you, Bagheera, in the chat, who's a little upset that we're having fun at Malfurion's expense. My favorite character just became the #1 evil on the planet. We all have to sometimes deal with things we like getting made fun of or going in a bad direction we don't love. It'll be fine. Let's just have fun with it and go on. Let's talk about Zappy Boi.
Yes.
His name. You remember his name. Zakan?
Zakan.
It's Zappy Boi. I saw the official World of Warcraft account call him Zappy Boi.
Zappy Boi 2018 for War Chief.
So, that cinematic, though. Whew.
Yeah.
It was really good. Like, I was in the middle of a podcast when it dropped, and like I was browsing Twitter, and like the whole rest of the show, I'm just like, ah, dang, I need to watch that. Dang, I need to watch that, and I like couldn't concentrate on my show.
But like one of my favorite things is the sound in it. Like it's so still and quiet before this battle is about to take place.
Mm-hmm.
You hear every little clank of Sourfang's armor, and I thought that just really like that mood that just set from the very beginning of the cinematic was one of my favorite things about it. Like just that somberness of it. Like, you know, we've just gotten through this huge event, and you're sitting there. He's reflecting. You see what's in the distance. You know like what's about to happen, and it's just eerily quiet.
I'd just like to say something because it's bothering me. It's Saurfang, like a dinosaur, not sour like candy.
But
it's
he's grumpy. Sourfang.
Okay, so the whole cinematic starts off. It's great. You know, he's quiet. He's just reflecting, and then all of a sudden, cut to the fire of Teldrassil, and it's like just such a flash of like, oh my god, mixed in with him and his son, and like so full of emotion. Just like the first 10 seconds of it just totally just grips you and has you. And assuming you've played ICC or some of Wrath, because I mean, I know there are people out there who skipped a lot of that content because, you know, they came in during Cataclysm or Pandaria or something like that. But if you have no idea what we're talking about, I really recommend that you go through Dragon, what the crap is that? Dragon Blight.
Dragon Blight, yeah.
Get to the Wrathgate cinematic, then go through ICC, like just the first wing. That's all you need to do, and you get one of the ideas on why this is so important. If you've done the Horde side, you can do some questing with Saurfang, and it's just awesome. And then like seeing this beautiful moment of reflection that it doesn't even take place on ICCs, which means he grabbed his kid and went into the snow somewhere. And it's just amazing at how much they put into the tiniest little bit, and you get every single emotion in Saurfang's face, like just there, and you feel every single second with him. And then hero worship happens, and he's so pissed about that. But it makes sense. And I mean, just the story that it's told, you get where he's coming from because of the questing, because of what's happening and everything like that. And then I think that they really nailed it with Zappy Boi, whatever his name is again, Zarkon?
Zappy Boi.
Zakon! I'm sure I'm not the first person who's done that. But when Zakon, you know, follows out with him, he says the Horde is the only thing he has. And like, if you think about it, the Horde traditionally has been these races who have been, you know, rejected by the Alliance. They've been, you know, the downtrodden. They've been just like overall the underdogs, the ones who have been crapped on this whole time. And I'm not saying that the Worgen haven't had their deal too, because that's very true.
Yeah, but the only race that the Alliance has ever tried to bring back is the pretty one.
Yeah, exactly. And it's only because they're like, you know, weapons of mass destruction now.
Yep.
But I mean, if you think about that, and you know, go in as a player in the Horde, yeah, you can disagree with Sylvanas, you can hate what she did and everything like that, but in universe, the Horde is all you have. Mm-hmm. It really gives like a big, huge like push towards, hey guys, this might suck. Still fight for it, maybe. You know,
It's worth fighting for. You know.
Yeah, there's multiple sides to this, and I think that's one of the things that all the outrage, everything that's been pouring, you know, on social media and everywhere else, is that people are, you know, totally with Sylvanas, so happy with it, totally with Saurfang. I mean, there's the whole movement now of, you know, just hide your shoulder armor, the entire expansion. Some people are saying until Saurfang is the new war chief, which you might be waiting a long time. Who knows?
Maybe. He's a little old.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might die.
He's wanting to. So.
Yeah, he's been wanting to for a couple of expansions now.
Well, yeah, you've watched the cinematic, the introduction to the you know, next expansion. So yeah.
I mean, he had like 3 arrows in him, and the first time you see him, he's like, "Hey, it's Saurfang!" Oh, it's Saurfang.
He got close. Yeah, he keeps getting close. He can take a lot of arrows, as it turns out, because it's not like he got Anduin lighted. He just got motivated and was like, a couple arrows, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I really loved the cinematic, like just seeing like the orc and the emotion in his face. It like just brought me back to kind of the Warcraft movie, and seeing the orcs in that light from like Durotan's like the pride of being an orc, and I thought I don't know, it makes me admire them more. And I've always loved trolls. They're my favorite. So seeing a fully cinematic troll was really special.
That was pretty awesome. I'm going to totally agree with you on that one. I mean, And like at first he's talking like he doesn't have like the stupid like stereotypical accent and stuff. It's just kind of there and it's slight and everything. And then like just the innocence you see on this kid's face is just like heartbreaking because he's like, what are we gonna do? What should what do you recommend? Don't die.
Yeah.
By the way, you can add that for your combat initiation start sound in DBM now. Right out there.
Oh,
Nice,
that's
yeah.
a good idea.
I don't know if I would call troll voices stupid, man. I would just say he doesn't have the
Okay, sorry.
overemphasized.
It's not like over the top.
It was, yeah.
They
It works.
showed nuance for once. They weren't like, let's crank this accent up to 11.
That's what I meant. I apologize for my phrasing on that.
That's what he'll be like in a future cinematic when he's War Sheet. Then it can be over the top.
Yeah, then he can go crazy.
Yes, their accent gets thicker as they get older. Everybody knows that about
That's
trolls.
just how it works.
Yeah, exactly. So did you guys do exactly what I did, which was as soon as that was over, play the Battle for Azeroth cinematic?
Yes, because I thought Zappy Boi died in it, because I forgot that there was a second troll. I didn't remember, and I was like, boy, this is tragic. He's going to die. Because after I saw that, I went to Twitter, and someone was like, you know how people get on the internet. Someone said, we have to protect Zappy Boi at all costs. And I was like, well, that tweet isn't going to age well. He died in the original cinematic. And then I thought about it, and I was like, no, the person in the cinematic had a sword, I thought. Hold on, I got to go look this up. So I went and watched it, and yeah, sure enough, it's a different troll. Zappy Boi's still there at the end.
This morning on the way and to work on the train, I was reading the back and forth on Twitter about that. Like, Zappy Boi dies. What are you people talking about? No, he doesn't. He's a different troll.
Although,
White hair, he has red hair. Everybody calm down.
I'll say this, you want to get the Horde back in the fight, have Anduin kill Zappy Boi. You'll have plenty of Horde people mad now. Jeez.
That's true.
Yeah. So going back, like it's like early in the show, kill Malfurion, both sides. Yeah, that's probably our best ticket to peace. Kill Zappy Boi. Whoa,
look
We've
out.
known this character for 2 minutes.
We're
6 minutes. 6
lives.
Look, we don't know if Zappy Boi would get entangled in roots yet. We haven't tried. I'm not saying let's rule it out. He could, but we haven't tested it.
Very true. Very true.
Set up an experiment.
I do wonder because I wasn't expecting a cinematic, like a fully rendered cinematic, another one, like especially like a prequel, a direct prequel right to the Battle for Azeroth one. And so I'm wondering if we'll maybe get like an alliance side look, like right before the battle.
That'd be great.
I'd love to see that.
Oh yeah, especially with like, you know, what's going on? How did they decide? Okay, let's take Lordaeron. Like, just I don't know, Anduin issuing orders or something, or like, can you imagine? And they'll probably never do this because everything I come up with as a theory doesn't happen in this game. But
You're not alone.
A cinematic of him actually of Anduin prepping and putting the armor on. I mean, he's a priest, you know, and armoring up and picking up the sword. And thank you. And just, you know, getting ready for war, which is something that he's never wanted, something that he's always thought that he could fight against, and like actually giving into that moment. I mean, later on we see he throws the sword down and you know, just heals and raises. I keep saying he's bringing them back from the dead. Priests get a mass battle res. Not fair.
I mean, how much of a cool parallel would it be? Because like the Legion cinematic was, you know, Varian writing the letter, getting all this stuff ready, and then he like walks out onto the deck of the ship. And imagine having this like in his tent, getting ready for this battle, and then he just walks out, you know, right as basically the other cinematic ends, and then this one, you know, is kind of having basically the exact same moment.
Yeah, like you hear the first cannon fire as he's picking up his helmet or something like that. And that would be really cool. I would love to see that happen.
Yeah.
It won't. but I would love to see
Well,
that.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily rule it out. One thing that Blizzard definitely does, and does very smartly, because they know we love these cinematics, we eat them up, we like to see them. They reuse a lot of assets. They try to get as much mileage out of it as possible, which is why so much of this is happening at Lordaeron. They've already built it. That's why we're seeing sort of the same characters. We're going to focus on this troll that was in the cinematic. We're going to focus on Sylvanas, and we can put her easily in both because we've rendered her in both places. We have her model ready to go. It's why I would be surprised if suddenly Tyrande and Malfurion showed up in one, because they haven't shown up in one yet. It's not because I don't think Blizzard would do it. I think those are two very big lore characters, and they certainly have a reason to be in there, but they definitely budget for it. I mean, when you think of... Crap, I'm going to go to 3, Ben. I'm sorry. When you think of the Heroes of the Storm original trailer that came out... all the characters in that were characters that they had already done a model for. The only exception being Nova, but Nova's basically Kerrigan with blonde hair, so you could still kind of say that was done.
Like,
yeah, and it was
right-click.
it was confusing for a while because there was not that Diablo skin in the game.
Yeah. So I could totally see them saying, what if we did another cinematic? And who would make sense? Characters we've already animated. Anduin, Gen... that Draenei guy that stands up, you know, just
the dwarves in the cannon like the launcher thing, you know.
Yeah, give me the deep backstory of the dwarf that looks up and goes, ah, right before he blows up. I want to know his story.
Or, you know, Rifleman number 27. He looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Who fired the arrow that got really close to hitting Sylvanas?
It's just like 8 minutes of him loading cannonballs. And then at the very end, he looks up, and then there's an explosion, and that's the whole cinematic.
We're gonna get the most out of this cinematic. It'll be like the Tales of the Mos Eisley Cantina. Like, everybody's got a story. There's way more here than you thought.
I can see that.
Yes. So, now that the Alliance is going to be taking over Lordaeron, you know, that's a big place of power in the Eastern Kingdoms. What's to keep us from taking Gilneas back at this point? Honestly,
nothing.
Well,
it's about time. I mean,
a
we're living on
plague,
the
I
docks
guess, a bunch of
right
toxic
now.
stuff on the ground, but other than that,
Wouldn't it be great if when they evacuate Undercity, they just go right through Gilneas, just dropping plague the entire way?
just to be real vindictive, they're just like, you may have our city, but you're not getting yours.
It's kind of like, they're in Kalimdor. There's like the giant scar from the Cataclysm, and that's there's just that, but it's plague all the way to like the ocean.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Well, I mean, I think you're actually onto something, because I think it raises two very good questions for Silvermoon City, which is on the Eastern Kingdoms, and the Exodar, which is over on Kalimdor's side.
Yep.
So, I mean, honestly, as a Horde player, I spent enough time in the Exodar, I feel like I already own it. I know it's not true, but I felt like through Legion, they were just like, what if you had to go to the Exodar? Okay, let's send them to the Exodar. It's just, I felt like I was there constantly. Maybe I just notice it because it's my least favorite city in the game, because it's just confusing. It's like, guys, put down some boards or something. Make your city more understandable.
So now that, like, if the Horde have any inkling of trying to take the Exodar, there's like engineer was named Ramul, and then you have Velens behind him being like, hurry up, get this thing started, and Ramul's like, I'm giving it all it's got. You're flooding it.
Valenzal, would it help if I got out and pushed?
It's just nobody wants it. I mean, that's why the Horde's not going to control it. They don't want it. They were like, somebody's going to go up to Sylvanas and say, should we take the Exodar? And she's just going to start laughing. It'll be completely unsettling, be the first thing she's found funny since she became undead. She'll just be like, no, we don't want it. They can keep it. More people will die trying to walk down the hallway to get into that place than would in a battle trying to take it. It's just not worth it.
She's just like, bury it. Just It's like a safety hazard, public safety hazard.
No, it's like the pool that you never wanted that you just fill in with dirt. I can see that.
What is this? We don't know. We just turned it into a garden because we didn't know what to do with it, honestly.
Planted a new world tree here. Is that cool?
It's a little sign in the front that says, "We're sorry we made you sad."
Oh man. Okay, so just really quick last question. Would you prefer the world tree burning as it is, or if it got chopped down?
Chopping
This is
down.
a
would
morbid
be so
question, Ben,
tough.
but
Well, I mean, if it's chopped down, you can use the wood for stuff.
That's what I wondered, because the Horde is always resource hungry. I mean, Ogrimar's in the middle of a freaking desert that has nothing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they want those resources?
If you cut down the world tree, you can make shade all over Orgrimmar. You know, it'd be great.
there's a whole second world tree, and now there's not a night elf city to question us doing anything with it. We can go do whatever we can do whatever we want. We got too many world trees. What's one world tree? We still got another one. It's bigger.
It is a gigantic tree. There's a chance that the burning doesn't get all the way in the inside, so they just have to like chip away some of the black, and then they can have all the lumber they want forever.
Okay, good point.
I like the idea that they try to cut down the Hydra world tree, and when it falls on Orgrimmar. And it's just you just see like Gazlo out there just going, ah, just looking really upset. I didn't think about this. This was a mistake.
It's just like all those fail videos on the internet when somebody cuts down a tree and it lands in their truck or something, you know?
On the house.
It's just like, oh no, somebody's gonna not like this.
Hey, you guys, I gotta tell you something. I didn't really give this a lot of consideration. I was just excited to be cutting things. I didn't think about the way it would fall. I kind of thought it'd go into the sea, but it turns out it didn't go that way.
Is
Well,
that way? Oh.
Plus side, it did crush Gallywix's Pleasure Palace.
There you
A
go.
little bit of bad, a little bit of good.
You know, you got a lemonade situation going here. It's fine. Another nice thing, there's now a ramp up to the flight master. So no more elevators. So, everybody wins a little bit.
Negative side, there's no more Flight Master.
Yeah, we're going to need a new one of those.
Billy got squashed.
Yeah, in the speaking of flight masters, kind of in the cinematic, when I watched it again on my TV, like to like see the full scope of it, I noticed that you could see the Zeppelin towers, like where you get on the Zeppelin in front of Lordaeron, in the background. They actually put that detail in. I noticed, and I was like,
Oh, nice.
because I was like, those don't look like the other like cannon things. I'm like, oh, it's like the Zeppelin tower. Oh, they actually put it in there. So.
Well, and the greatest thing right now is if you go into Orgrimmar and you go up the Zeppelin Tower to go to Undercity, there's like a construction placard of like "Do not cross." It's a portal to go to Undercity, but you can't take the Zeppelin there anymore because the Zeppelin has broken down.
Gotcha.
Cool. This is a cool little detail.
Yeah.
I wonder if anybody logged out on that Zeppelin, because it's probably run out of gas and crashed somewhere by now.
Fatal
my
error.
gosh.
Res.
Yeah.
Another crash
Just
Zeppelin
world
quest.
tree. That's actually what happened. We had a Hindenburg type thing that happened. It wasn't the catapults. That Zeppelin just crashed right into the world tree.
Yeah, they got halfway there and they're like, hey, you got to turn around. Okay. Got lost out there in the ocean somewhere.
I don't know how to get back to Orgrimmar.
I only fly one
Yeah.
direction.
All the way around Azeroth, basically.
We are very lost.
Oh, the map's upside down.
Crash into the tree. That's what causes it to fall the wrong way. Turns out the tree's way bigger than we thought. Quick cut to Ajara, where a injured and wrapped up Malfurion is relaxing on the beach. The world tree falls down and pins him to the beach. And Taronda, it happened again! Taronda!
Oh, man.
Ron's just like,
Wah,
here
wah.
we go again.
That's my Malfurion.
You know, it's
Just like
nothing
like a Looney Tunes ending, you know, like the little.
there's really nothing like the complete destruction of one faction city and the impending destruction of another to really make you think, wow, wouldn't World of Warcraft be great as a situational comedy?
What did you say, Kaz? That's my Malfurion.
Yep.
Yep, that's the next expansion.
I'd watch that show. This might change my opinion on him all around. He might be all right.
All it is I Love Lucy, except Malfurion is Lucy. And Ron is Ricky.
I've been looking for a good comic idea. I should start drawing this.
There we go. I like it. I like it a lot.
I have somebody we should talk to about this. They would love it as well.
Well, Frosty Kaz, thank you very much for joining us this week. It has been an absolute pleasure for the serious side and the comedic side. And we always love having you guys on. Thank you very much.
We love being here. Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, really. We have so much fun.
Well, until next time we have you guys on, where can people find you?
Can find me on Twitter at FrosteeFox. It's FROSTEEFOX. And all of our podcasts at frozenfoxmedia.com.
More specifically, the Worgenhal is at Worgenhal.
Yep.
And you can find me at Kazul G Fox, KAZULGFOX.
Wonderful. John, what about you? Where can people find you?
Well, hey, Ben, if people want to find more of me, you can catch me on Twitter at John_Jagger. That's where I will let you know where I'll be, what I'll be doing. But if you want to hear me talk about Heroes of the Storm with no limit on the amount of time that I can do it, or the number of times, you should check out Core.
Core!
Which is the Heroes of the Storm show I do, part of the Frog Pants Network. More information about that at heroesforyou.com. In addition, you can catch me playing Dungeons & Dragons on There Will Be Dungeons. That airs every Saturday on twitch.tv/frogpants, or you can look up the archive at therewillbedungeons.com.
Very cool.
Ben?
Yes, John.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, so where can people find you?
Best place to find me is on Twitter. I am at Ben the Mage. I do another show about World of Warcraft, but specifically pet battling with Eludra. It's called Battle Pets. And if you want to hear my Dungeons & Dragons show, you can always listen to Secrets of Talonguard. Check it out. It's fun. I can't wait to play on Sunday.
Tell me the secrets. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, did anybody see the Alliance one-shot with Terry Crews? Or not the Horde, sorry, the Horde one.
Well, there's the whole 2.5 hours of the entire thing,
Yep.
and it was so good. So good. Yeah, check it out on YouTube. It's part of Celebrity D&D Warcraft Battle for Azeroth.
Yeah, It was fun. I also love that, man, Terry Crews is a Horde member. You're not going to get trees burning from him. He is a peaceful orc. He is just ready to settle things in the most amicable way possible, which makes me like Terry Crews even more.
Yep. He's a good guy. He reminds me of his character, Terry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, this show, Azeroth Roundtable, you can find us on Twitter. We are at AzerothRT. If you have any questions, comments, want to tell us how horrible and wrong we are or how wonderful and right we are, you can send those emails to azerothroundtable@gmail.com. For some reason, I never say this, but you can catch us live when we record, usually 8 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/AzerothRT. John, how come I never plugged the actual live show?
I don't know. We're bad at this.
Yeah, we are really bad at this, actually. But also, every episode, if you did like this one and you want to hear more, you can find those at AzerothRoundtable.com, also on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Alpha Geek Radio, everything. You'll find it. Just do a search. We're there. As far as I know, we're the only Azeroth Roundtable so far.
Well, Azeroth Square Table is out there, so, you know, you got some competition. Just kidding.
Yeah, but those guys are a bunch of squares, man.
Ooh.
That was bad. That was that was a square thing to say.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. This show is made possible more easily by the support. Sorry, I decided to get real honest there. I was like, if they all quit, we'd still do it probably. The show is made more possible by the support of patrons who support us over at patreon.com/AzerothRT. We want to give a special shout out to all of our patrons. Thank you so much for helping us make this show. But a special shout out to the Murloc Club, Aaron, Frasley S, Haster, Jim G, Kryn, Mimi H, and Simon. Thank you so much for being part of the Murloc Club.
Brought to you by patrons like you.
And people who aren't. It's cool. We're just here.
Yeah, we're here. We do this even when we're I don't know. We're here every week, so I don't know what I was gonna say.
Well, look, we do this stuff even when we're not recording it. So
yeah, Ben and I had to institute a no WoW talk rule when we hang out before the show because we would burn all the conversation in the car, and then we'd get here and we'd have to act like it was the first time.
Yeah.
So
I know what that is.
That's what happens on our show when we get a guest on and we're like, oh, let's talk for like an hour or something before the show. And we're like, oh, this would all be really good on the show. We just burnt it all.
That's why we limit it to 15 minutes now. Yeah. But anyways, chat room, you were great. Everybody, thank you very much for tuning in to Azeroth Roundtable. And until next time, be good to each other. Toronto.
They ended the show again, Toronto. I wasn't through my macchiato.
What? I spilled my macchiato.
He wasn't done with it. He wanted the show to end when he was done.
Awesome. Seriously, though, guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's always so great to talk to you.
Yeah, same. We need to have you on our show. We always say that, I think. But we need to actually do it.
Whatever. Yeah. Oh, so